Good afternoon. We'd like to give you an update on what we're seeing in terms of the storm. There is good news and there is bad news. The good news is in the New York City area, the snow is tapering off literally as we speak. There should be some more snowfall in New York City, but nothing significant. However, Nassau and Suffolk are not as lucky, and the bad news is Suffolk is getting the brunt of the storm. I don't know what Suffolk did to Mother Nature to offend her, but it seems that Suffolk tends recently to get the hardest hit on these type of storms. Obviously, the geographic location would lead to that. We had notice on this storm, which is the good news. And because we had notice, you had the staff that was pre-deployed. We pre-deployed equipment all over the state, but especially on Long Island. The MTA, Long Island Railroad, which you'll hear from in a moment, was able to store most of the equipment last night. So there wasn't a problem in terms of using the equipment this morning. We actually purchased a large additional number of plows last year after we had gone through a few snowstorms. And I was questioning at the time whether or not it was worth the expenditure, but in retrospect, I'm glad we did because they came in very handy on this storm. The amount of snow in Suffolk, we're looking at 8 to 11 inches, in Nassau 7 to 9 inches, combined with the gust of wind, 40 to 50 miles an hour, is a very dangerous combination. And this is not a storm that should be taken lightly. We've said that if you don't have essential travel, today is not the day to do it. I have asked businesses to consider early release so people can get out early. The low volume on the road at this time is actually helping us because the plows can stay ahead of the snow. We're worried about the 5 o'clock hour when we still believe it's going to be snowing. And if you have additional volume, that slows down the plows, and that then complicates the issue. I've directed state agencies to do early release for all non-essential personnel. And again, I encourage private businesses to consider the same. Situation at the airports is ugly, for lack of a better word. There have been thousands of cancellations. LaGuardia, we have over 600 cancellations. Newark, over 600. JFK, over 700 cancellations. That should get better as the snow tapers off. But before you even consider going to the airport, for sure you should check with your airline. We hope that if the snow does taper off as expected, that we should be in good shape for the rush hour tomorrow. But that's if the snow tapers off. That's if we get the roads cleared. And one of the variables on getting the roads cleared is people staying off the roads. Just on the ride out here from New York City just now, there are dozens of people stuck. There are people who get stuck on the ramps wherever there's an incline. And one person gets stuck, then that backs up the entire ramp, stops the plows, stops the tow trucks, etc. So remember, it's not only endangering your own life, you are endangering of the lives of other motorists and the over 4,000 workers who are out here to try to keep people safe. So please be responsible. And if you don't need to travel, today is not the day to do it. I want to applaud County Executive Ballone, who has done an outstanding job. We also have Supervisor Schaefer with us today. The county team, the town teams have been really extraordinary. And cooperation and the coordination between the state, the county, and the local governments has worked very well. Unfortunately, we've had too much experience working together at this time on storms like this, but it really does make all the difference. So I want to applaud the leadership of the county executive and the supervisor, and I want to applaud all the emergency workers who are out there, the transportation workers, the police officers who are doing an outstanding job. And with that, let me turn it over to County Executive Steve Bellone.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you very much. I want to thank the governor for the support that he has given and his entire team. He's absolutely right. We've been together too many times at storm events like this, but what it has done is given us the experience and the ability to really deal with anything that's thrown at us. This is a serious storm. We've seen worse, but as the governor said, this storm needs to be taken very seriously. I'm grateful that a number of people have heeded the call, have stayed off the roads, have taken the opportunity, if able, to stay home today. But there's still a lot of people out there on those roads. Suffolk County Police Department has done a tremendous job. Our Police Commissioner Tim Sini, who is here, we've had over 100 rescues out on the roadways since this storm began. Several of them, the commissioner himself was out there. So these roads are still very dangerous, still slick. The conditions are still very bad. We're looking at the overnight of the cold and dark, freezing the streets so that they become icy, become difficult to plow. So we're in for a long night. The plow operators are going to be out there throughout the night doing everything they can to get things ready for tomorrow. We'll see where we are tonight, but I want to thank them for the work that they're doing. They really are unsung heroes out there doing a terrific job in very difficult conditions while all of us and most of us are in our homes sleeping. They'll be out overnight, so I want to thank them. The coordination between the governor's office and his emergency management team and our team down here is absolutely incredible. We couldn't ask for more support. The governor mentioned the vehicles that have been deployed down here, and I want to thank him for the resources that have been brought from other areas of the state down here to assist Suffolk County in this storm, as has been done in the past. We appreciate that support and that cooperation, and I think the fact that we've been able to work together so seamlessly like that has absolutely made a huge difference here and probably saved lives as well. So we're going to be continuing to operate. We're going to be out all night. We urge people to, again, remain home, stay off those roads. They are slick, they are dangerous, and the plow operators need to be able to do their work. So, again, thank you to the governor, all of our first responders, Suffolk County Police Department, and all of our plow operators who are out there doing a terrific job. And with that, I want to turn it over to the Interim Executive Director of the MTA, Ronnie Hakem. Ronnie?
Thank you. Good afternoon. So as the governor has noted, we had the advantage of being prepared for this storm, but we also focused very much on Long Island and the Long Island Railroad service that we would need to provide today. While ridership has been very, very low, down from normal, we are still meeting all of the demands for our riders. Everybody that we brought into New York this morning, we are going to bring home safely this afternoon. The governor has encouraged early release for employers, so we are also rescheduling some trains. So we're encouraging our customers to look at mta.info, look at our apps, look at our social media feeds to be able to be aware of what those new schedules are so that we can get everybody home safely and on time. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
Any reports of any injuries or fatalities at this point?
We have, I haven't received any reports of any injuries in this area. We did have a fatality in New York City, which was more of a heart attack, caused by a heart attack from snow shoveling. There have been a number of accidents, but I don't have this time an injury report or a fatality report. No.
Governor, in the past, in the most recent major winter storm, had it closed down the LIE. What is different this time that would cause you not to get that?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question. Closing the road, closing the Long Island Railroad, closing the subways, closing the airports is one of the difficult decisions that you have to make. And, you know, you do it based on the weather forecast, and you make the best decision that you can. One time I made the mistake of saying the weather forecast turned out to be incorrect, and I was bombarded by weather people all across the country. So I'm not going to say that anymore, but you make the best decision that you can with the information that you have at the time. I have gone through both situations, frankly, where we left the road open, where in retrospect you would have closed it. And it was a frightening situation for me personally. We had people on the long LIE who were in their cars overnight. So I've also had the opposite experience where we closed the road and then we got very little snow. And people said we closed the road and inconvenienced everyone for no good reason. So you make the best decision that you can. We have more equipment out there today, which is one of the reasons why we felt more comfortable. We literally purchased dozens of additional snow plows. So you just have many more people and many more plows. And the forecast is not as bad as it's been in the past. But you calibrate this call as you go through it, and that's why I like to come out and meet with the county executive. I like to see the conditions. And if they get worse, we may change the decision. But right now, we feel comfortable where we are as long as people stay off the road. Where it gets dangerous and the danger compounds is when you have people on the road, someone gets stuck, the traffic starts to back up, you can't get the plows, now you have a problem. But with this volume, with this amount of snowfall, right now I don't think there's going to be a reason to close the road.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.